Hey everybody, Michael Snyder, Pacific Northwest Weather Watch. Today's June 16th. Right now we're looking at yesterday morning visible satellite imagery. I want to point something out here. We did kick off a thunderstorm just to the east of Walla Walla. There's Lewiston, and you can see it right there. So yeah, that was a little bit unexpected there, but also, you can see that marine layer burning off across portions of Portland, western Washington yesterday. Quite a nice day out there. You can see the thunderstorm activity out there across portions of the Rocky Mountains and Montana. Those moved off across the supercells across some of eastern Montana as well. You can see this next cloud activity here off the coastline. Weak system approaching our coast, and you can kind of see it creeping in here as we go through this morning. We'll take a look at that here coming up in a moment. But the big weather story here is the upper level low. It's going to be visiting the Pacific Northwest as we go towards the end of the week coming up here. You want to stay tuned for that. Now, taking a look here again, you can see that thunderstorm there, some Rocky Mountain thunderstorms and the stronger storms across central and eastern Montana. Nothing for Idaho for the most part, except for right across the border areas, and not much for Oregon and Washington as well, except for that one thunderstorm. So taking a look here at the Tempest Home Weather Station, this thing is really fun. It's got lightning detection system with it. I always look at it. It gives you a quick update on your smartphone. It works well with that. Click on the link down below if you want to save 10% off. Highly recommended. Now, taking a look here at the Patreon page, if you want to support or just get updates on a daily basis, it's a good way to do so. So yeah, check out the Patreon page link again down below. So thunderstorm activity today should spread back in towards eastern Oregon, maybe even some of the southern Oregon Cascades as well. You can see the severe weather well off across Montana, Wyoming, portions of Nebraska as well. A little bit of a tornado threat enhanced there across some of Minnesota. So you got some friends and family, make sure they're aware of that. And then again on day 2, this does include portions of Idaho and Montana, but nothing for Washington, Oregon expected, as well as day 3. Now, this is something interesting coming in here tonight. You can see Monday 2 p.m. to 9 p.m. We got some gusty winds, low relative humidities, and we have red flag warnings. It does include Chelan, Wenatchee, just off to the east of Leavenworth, Ellensburg, Yakima is included as well. You can see there is Moses Lake. But again, even across Moses Lake, Ritzville, Connell out there, you are going to have some of these gusty winds as well. So watch out. Use caution with fire triggers, grills, cars, campfires, etc. That is for the day today. And looking at this as we scroll through the day today, you'll see these winds pick up as we go through the late afternoon right there, and then the evening hours. These gusty westerly, southwesterly winds across the region are going to be helping spread any kind of fire activity that gets going quite rapidly. Again, that's why the red flag warning is out for this afternoon and for this evening. Now, taking a wider look at things here, we're going to scroll off in towards the end of the week because that is the next weather maker here for the Pacific Northwest. Troughing continues, onshore flow, keeping temperatures suppressed here across the region. We have no warm up in the meantime. And look at the European on the left versus the GFS on the right. Wants to bring this upper level low. This could be bringing some meaningful precipitation across places like Southwest BC, Washington, Oregon, depending on just the track of this upper level low. Could even kick off some thunderstorms as well, and it will keep temperatures again down, just below normal here for the short term, at least as we go through this upcoming weekend. And then through the extended forecast, we'll check that out here in a moment. But yeah, this is going to definitely keep any heat wave at bay for the region as we go through the upcoming weekend and on in through the early portion of next week. So if we take a look at the European model here, we'll scroll through there, and you can see the thunderstorms pop up. I'll back up again here. You can kind of see as we go through this afternoon and evening, some of the Oregon Cascades, mainly central, southern there, eastern Oregon, portions of Idaho, Rocky Mountains, and Montana. Maybe a lightning strike there on the Washington, BC border there as well. But we'll scroll on in through on the day on Tuesday. This is tomorrow. You see some of that shower activity approaching the Washington coast as we go through the day tomorrow. Better chance across Vancouver Island, some of western BC, Haida Gwaii getting some showers also there as well. And then we scroll on in through Wednesday, and you see some of this precipitation starting to emerge across some of western Washington, higher terrain, and perhaps western Oregon. And that is on the day Wednesday. And we get a little bit of a break here on Thursday, but then you can see the upper level low starting to pivot off the coastline here as we go through the day Friday. It starts to spread some precipitation inland, and you can see we would get a bit more for Seattle, Portland here, depending on just, again, the track of this upper level low, which we'll be watching closely here over the next few days as the high resolution models get into range. But you can see better chances for some more widespread precipitation here. Look at that wraparound moisture coming across southwest BC back in towards western Washington as we go through the day on Saturday, and maybe another round of precipitation there on the day Saturday all the way back down in towards Oregon. So yeah, fun stuff coming up here. And again, thunderstorm potential would be apparent with this upper level low. Now, I like to show the upper levels of the atmosphere, kind of give you a visual diagram of what is going on. And as you see, this is 500 millibars, about 18,000 feet up in the atmosphere. See if you can spot this upper level low as it pivots across the region. Look at that pink just kind of overtake the Pacific Northwest there as we go on in through Friday and on in through the day on Saturday. So you notice how it's easy to discern where this upper level low is at here at 18,000 feet. If we look at 10,000 feet, you can see it quite well as well. And then we'll go ahead and put this into motion, and you'll see those chillier upper level temperatures there move across the region again Friday into Saturday, taking over the Pacific Northwest. If I bounce out a bit further, this is the North American view. There's Alaska, Washington, Oregon. Watch that upper level low spin across the region. And again, when you look at the 10,000, 18,000 foot levels, it's easier to discern where this upper level low is going to be. And I'll show you what I mean here in a moment, but you can see that kind of taking up residence here across the Pacific Northwest. Now, a wider view of that even here again as well. This is the northern hemisphere. There's the North Pole, there's Hawaiian Islands. You can see Japan way off over here, right there. You can see China, you can see Africa over there as well. There's Greenland right here. And if I put that into motion, you can kind of see that polar vortex there, or tropospheric polar vortex. It gets much weaker here as we go on into the summer months. But again, you can see our upper level low right there for the Pacific Northwest. And you can see these other upper level lows here kind of pinwheeling around the tropospheric polar vortex at about 10,000 feet. Now, back towards the Pacific Northwest here, we're looking at 5,000 feet now. And if I put that into motion, you'll see the cooler air arrive as we go through the end of the week right there. But you notice it's not quite as discernible. It gets a little bit more muddied the closer you go towards the surface. And if we go to 925 millibars at 2,500 feet, you can kind of see that cooler air move in. But again, you can kind of see the diurnal cycle there and the warming of the surface. You know, it's a little bit more prevalent here. So it's a little bit more difficult to discern exactly where that low pressure system is, or that's why we call it an upper level low, because it is a bit easier to see when you look at the upper level charts. Now, taking a look here at total precipitation in inches, we'll put that into motion, and this is the European ensemble mean. So as we go through Friday, Saturday, look at some of these precipitation totals there across British Columbia. You're getting up over 1-2 inches. Some of the Rocky Mountains there, you're getting some precip there for the Cascades of Washington, Oregon, coastal ranges as well. Look at that, Seattle up over 1/3 of an inch by the time we get on in towards Saturday night. Better amounts for Portland. Some of the Willamette Valley showing up over 1/2 an inch, maybe even a bit more. You can see the 1 inch marker there getting pretty close to the Willamette Valley. So again, lots to watch here as we go through the end of the week. Maybe even a little bit of precipitation here depending on how this low comes in for places east of the Cascades as well. Now, daily 2-meter max temperatures is Monday, June 16th. Look at Seattle, mid-70s. Get out there and enjoy these temperatures here. Quite nice. You can see 90 for Boise out here. Look at 80 for Redmond or Bend, Oregon, whichever one that is. You can see the 17th, 18th. There's Wednesday, Thursday. But watch what happens on Friday. Look at that. Temperatures only in the 60s for Seattle. We go to Saturday, 62 for Seattle. Very chilly out there, relatively speaking, for this time of year. Southwest BC only making it into the low 60s as well. And look at this. Even eastern Washington, Oregon, Boise held down just to around 70 degrees or so. Then we go through Sunday. We start to bounce those temperatures back a little bit there Monday, and then we start to get a little bit closer to normal here as we go on in through the next week period there. But again, take that with a grain of salt. We're looking way off into the future at this point. And just a reminder here, no heat wave is in sight here for the next week to 2 weeks coming up, and we'll be sure to watch that because it's something that's starting to show a little bit towards the end of the month. I'll show you that here more in a moment, starting with the artificial intelligence. So as you can imagine, you can see that upper level low pinwheeling across Pacific Northwest there, and then we kind of keep some troughing going as we go on into the June 23rd time period down the west coast of North America. You got this westerly onshore flow not allowing us to warm up too much, but you see this ridge starting to nose in a little bit here. That might bring some better weather here for the region, or start to warm us up just a hair. This is not a big heat dome or anything of that nature, but something we're going to watch as we go off into the extended forecast. Now, 2-meter temperature anomaly, 5-day running total here. So as we go through the next 5 days, you can clearly see this below normal signal here for the Pacific Northwest. And as we start to emerge out towards the end of the month and on in towards early July, you can kind of see that warm up a little bit here. I mean, it's only slightly above average. So this is as we go towards the end of the month all the way on in through July 1st. 6 to 10 day. No surprise here, right? 6 to 10 day temperature outlook below normals. We go 21 through 25 of June, and then the 6 to 10 day precipitation outlook. We'll see about that. I don't know about that too much. We'll see how this precipitation trends here over the next few days. And something interesting here as well. So if any of you guys wonder how the channel has been doing, this is basically 2025 is in the blue line here. 2024 was in the purple line here. So in 2025, we have gotten about 2.7 million views on the channel. so far this year from January 1st to June 15th. And this is the same graph from January 1st to June 15th, 2024 is in the purple. So you can kind of see how we had that snow going on and we had some hype going on there and we had some pretty big viewerships there, but we also had some other big viewerships here as well, or viewed videos, I should say, in the blue, and that is 2025. So again, 2.7 versus 2.3. So we are on the upward trend here, about 400,000 more views or so, approximately. And you can kind of see as the weather gets a little bit down here, we start to bring down those viewerships a bit there. But yeah, your guys' act of just watching on a daily basis really helps the channel as well. You know, tell your friends and make sure you're subscribed. I know there's been some comments about how some people get automatically kicked off of some of their subscriptions, and I don't know why that is or anything like that. But yeah, and I know there's been some bots that occasionally sign up en masse to the page as well, and then they end up getting kicked off, so the subscription numbers jump around quite a bit. But yeah, kind of an interesting look there. I always like to look at these graphics. YouTube has an amazing amount of stuff. I mean, you can look at the cities people are viewing from, all kinds of crazy stuff, the subscription status of all the viewers, where they are in the world. Some people watch from all across the world. It's pretty funny. And then you can look down at the top 50 videos during this time period here as well, so you can kind of see how there are more views on the 2025 side there as well. So yeah, the channel is continues to grow. But anyway, what else? We will continue to break down this system rolling in here. It's nice to get a little bit of active weather across the region. We'll check out that thunderstorm potential there as we go towards the end of the week and the weekend as well. That's all I got for you. We'll do this all again tomorrow, and I'll talk to you guys then.